Are you required to do field sobriety tests if you're stopped for a DWI? Everyone's probably heard that if you're stopped for an allegation of driving while intoxicated, that you should refuse a breath or blood specimen. And that's true. But did you also know that you can refuse to do standardized field sobriety tests? How do you do it? You just say no. An officer is not going to ask you to do field sobriety tests so much as direct you to. So it's not going to sound like a question. The officer is probably going to say something like, I'm going to have you do some field sobriety tests. That doesn't sound like a question, but understand the officer is in fact asking you to do something. And you have the ability to say no. And that's what you should do. If an officer asks you to do field sobriety tests, typically starting with the test of your eyes, and they say, I'm going to test your eyes, all you have to do is say, I decline to do any tests. I refuse to do any tests, or simply say no. There is no adverse effect of not providing field sobriety tests. In other words, it doesn't make it more likely that you will be arrested. Unlike refusing a sample of your breath or blood, which results in a license suspension, refusing field sobriety tests has no direct adverse consequence. Similarly, it's really not making it more likely that the officer will arrest you. Will a prosecutor someday argue that the only reason you did not do field sobriety tests was because you thought you were guilty? Sure. But there are many counter arguments to that, including the trustworthiness of the tests themselves. So let your attorney deal with that problem. You place yourself in the best position to defend your case by not agreeing to do the field sobriety tests. So we made this video in response to questions that we got on previous YouTube videos, and we love getting those questions. We'd be happy to answer as many of them as possible. If you have a question about criminal law in Texas or any federal criminal laws, drop a question below and we'll be happy to answer them for you.